Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most controversial phrases in sports betting, which is arbitrage. Arbitrage betting. Earning a risk-free return on capital by placing 2+ bets on 2+ sportsbooks in order to guarantee a risk-free return. In other words, Red Sox playing the Twins. Maybe you can find an opportunity to bet the Twins on DraftKings, the Red Sox on BetMGM, and lock in a risk-free return. That is known as arbitrage, and it is flawed, but it's also great. And many new bettors use arbitrage as a way to build their bankroll in sports betting and get more comfortable sports betting in understanding winning strategies. It is absolutely a great way to start off sports betting and make risk-free money sports betting, but again, it has its flaws. I started out arbitrage betting, and it can be lucrative. It can be very lucrative if you're patient and you're fast, which we are going to talk about in this video. So here we can see an example of an arbitrage bet that is currently available for tomorrow in this tennis match. I'm not sure what league this is. We can kind of check. I believe it's ATP or WTA. I'm not sure. I guess this is ATP. What we can see is we're getting plus money on both sides, right? Either this Emil person or this Alexander guy, they have to win the tennis match. You can't have a tie in tennis. One of these persons has to win, and you're getting plus money on both sides. So if we just think about it, if we bet $100 on MGM, and we bet $100 on FanDuel on Bublik, so we bet $100 on FanDuel. We can just pull up the calculator. If we bet $100 on Alexander Bublik on FanDuel, and we bet $100 on Emil Rusavario, hope I pronounced that right, on BetMGM, we're staking a total of $200, right? One of these bets has to win. Either Emil is going to win or Alexander is going to win. So one of our bets has to win, one of our bets has to lose. These are equal and opposite outcomes. These tennis players are playing each other. One of these people has to win. So if we bet $100 on both players, what we can see is that if Bublik wins, we'll profit $114 on FanDuel, $114 profit on FanDuel if Bublik wins, but we'll lose $100, the $100 we bet on Rusavario on MGM. So we profit $14. On the other hand, if Rusavario wins, we profit $105 on MGM, but we lose the $100 we bet on FanDuel on Bublik. So we profit $5, 105 minus 100. So if you're getting plus money on both sides on equal and opposite outcomes, I mean, that's literally risk-free money. For every $100 you bet, you're earning a risk-free return on capital. And we can see here kind of the OddsJam arbitrage calculator tells you exactly how to keep your risk-free profit the same. So let's say our bankroll on BetMGM is, whatever, 2.5K, $2,500. If we're able to place $1,000 on Emil, and then on FanDuel it tells us to bet roughly $250, we'll earn $92 in risk-free profit. Arbitrage can earn you some serious dollars, but it does come with flaws. So we'll talk a little bit about all of this. So I think before we dive into a little bit more about arbitrage, we should recap the previous video if you didn't see it, and why arbitrage even exists in sports betting. So why does arbitrage exist? Sportsbooks have different odds. This is one of the keys to sports betting. Sportsbooks have different odds, and this is weird from a market perspective, right? If I go to Robinhood versus I go to E-Trade, I do not see different prices on Apple stock. It just doesn't happen. But in sports betting, these sportsbooks want to be unique, so they all have their own models, their own algorithms for setting their lines. They want to be unique. So here we can see, if I want to bet on the Mariners, the best odds are on 5 dimes and Pinnacle plus 138. So why would you ever place a bet on, Bodog or Bovada plus 130 if you can get plus 138 on these other bookmakers? It doesn't make sense. So we've already said that in sports betting, right, bookmakers have different odds because If they didn't, we wouldn't need hundreds of sports books in this global sports betting ecosystem. But they have different odds, so you need multiple bookmaker accounts so you can line shop, right? Line shopping means you compare odds for all books in your location, and if you want to place a bet, you make sure you have the best possible odds. So if you have multiple sportsbook accounts, you're able to line shop first of all, but second of all, you're able to arbitrage bet, right? That arbitrage bet wouldn't have been available if you didn't have a FanDuel and a BetMGM account. So sportsbook odds, they vary from sportsbook to sportsbook. That's just how sportsbooks operate. They keep their odds independent, so you need multiple accounts. And at the same time, odds are always moving, as we kind of discussed in the previous video. Odds are not static, right? If the Mariners pitcher, if he gets injured, the line may rip in favor of the Athletics, right? But then if his best hitter comes out as having COVID, the line may move back, in favor of the Mariners. Odds are always moving around. It's a market like all others. If a bunch of sharp bettors come in and they start hammering the Mariners plus 138 odds, those odds may come crashing down to plus 120. Sports betting is a market. It's determined by supply and demand like all others. If people start hammering this Elvis Andrus, over 0.5 home runs plus 650, that's going to come down. Maybe it moves to plus 500. So this is the key to understanding arbitrage betting. It is understanding that odds are always moving and books have different odds. That is fundamentally why arbitrage exists in sports betting. Sportsbooks have different odds, and when they get too far out of sync, there will be an opportunity for sports bettors to place a risk-free bet and earn a return on capital. So here we can see an example. We have the Astros playing the Royals. The Astros are plus 225 on Fox Bet, minus 218 on Pinnacle. So if we pull up the calculator, let's say we have a $500 bankroll on Fox Bet. So on Pinnacle, we would need to bet, $1,115, and we would earn a risk-free $11 in profit, regardless of the outcome, right? That's what's crazy about arbitrage betting, is your payout does not change, and your payout will always be greater than your total stake. So here in both cases, $500 bet at plus 225 odds nets you $16.25 in profit. $13.99 bet at minus 218 odds nets you $16.25 in payout. Your total stake is fixed at $16.13.99, and your total payout is fixed at $16.25. No matter what happens in the game, you earn $11, right? That's not particularly bad. That's not particularly great. So what you need, let's talk about one of the main flaws of arbitrage, is you need a bankroll. This is not going to work with $100 in each account. Sports betting, you should be treating it as an investment, right? The more money you have, the better. Arbitrage, it scales, in a linear fashion. If there's a 2% arbitrage bet, or the one we saw in the beginning of this video, I believe was 4.5%. If you place $100 on a 4.5% ARB, you earn $450 in dollar profit. If you place $1,000 on that same ARB, you earn $45, right? So it's something where the more money you have, the more money you will make, okay? So you need a bankroll to get started, and you also need multiple sportsbook accounts. We said this in the initial video, right? Sports betting is not an ATM machine. You're not going to get rich quick. If you think you're going to get rich quick, sports betting, just go play the lottery. It's not going to happen. Sports betting is a game of earning 2%, 3%, 1% returns on a daily basis and watching that grow and grow and grow, compound and compound and compound. So the whole point is, if you're able to place, 5 bets like this a day, it takes 2 seconds. All you have to do is pull up Fox Bet, place a bet, plus 225 odds, put $500 on it, maybe that takes 30 seconds. Go to Pinnacle, place a bet of this amount, maybe that takes another 30 seconds. Like, it's not hard. This takes a minute or 2 minutes, and you earn a risk-free $11 in profit. If you're able to do that 5 times per day, you're earning $50 per day, and you do that consistently, that's a risk-free, 20 grand a year. that you're netting from just hustling, right? You're hustling. This is an active job in making risk-free money in sports betting. So I definitely started out a little bit with arbitrage betting because it's risk-free money. Like, you can't ask for much more, and it's something you can do anytime, right? Like, what's crazy about sports betting is you never know when the best opportunities are going to occur. Whether you're arbitrage betting or positive expected value betting, you don't know if the best opportunities are going to occur at 1 p.m., 3 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., 4 p.m. Who knows? On every day it will be different. You know, when a player gets injured and lines start to jump around, then there may be some of the best arbitrage opportunities. Or sometimes it's when, you know, football markets are first posted for the upcoming week. As books start to post player props, there may be big market discrepancies that you can kind of jump in on and take advantage of. So again, you never know when the best arbs are going to occur, which makes sports betting exciting. So you can really like check OddsJam essentially at any time of the day. What we typically tell people, and almost all of our customers spend time on the site, they use the physical site because they can move quicker, is you just hit the refresh button whenever you have a spare minute, and if there's a good opportunity, you can jump on it. And if there aren't any good opportunities, you refresh it later, right? You never know when the best betting opportunities are going to occur, which keeps sports betting exciting. So again, arbitrage is earning risk-free returns on capital. This is not something that you should do if you are looking to get rich quick. This is something where you're hustling 5-10 minutes a day to earn $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, you know, risk-free in a day, and watch those returns compound, 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 grow and grow and grow. That is arbitrage betting, right? You are earning relatively small amounts of money on a daily basis, but I mean, hey, it's risk-free, and you're letting your returns compound and compound and compound. In my first year of sports betting, I used arbitrage betting. I tracked every single bet I placed. As I've discussed in one of my previous videos, you can watch it if you haven't seen it, on closing line value and tracking your bets. Tracking your bets is really the best source of truth in sports betting if you're actually making money and how much money you're making. My first year kind of sports betting, I was arbitrage betting pretty ruthlessly, and I netted over $30,000, right? You can make real money arbitrage betting, but you have to put in the time and you have to be quick. So now let's switch over. Let's talk about some of the flaws of arbitrage betting. I'll be, no BS video. Let's talk about the complete truth. Why does arbitrage betting suck, right, compared to, other forms of investing or even other forms of sports betting? So the first one is arbitrage betting, it's lame, right? You have no risk. Every day you are grinding to earn $20, $30, $40, $60, whatever your goal is, a day in risk-free profit by going in quickly, placing 2 bets before the odds move, and locking in a risk-free return. You're not actually betting on sports. You have zero risk, right? All you are doing is earning a risk-free return on capital, which is great, but at the same time, you're not actually betting on sports. So the first thing I'll say is if you came to this channel because you wanted to learn sports betting, arbitrage betting, it's not even sports betting. You're just arbing books and making a risk-free return on capital. So that's the first thing that I will say. The second thing I'll say is you have to move really quick. To place an arbitrage bet, if you think about what is arbitrage, you're going to 2 sports books and you're placing 2 bets most of the time, maybe 3, right? You can have a 3-way arbitrage bet, but typically you're going to 2 sports books, you're placing 2 bets before the odds move, right? When arbitrage exists, it means a financial market inefficiency exists where you can earn risk-free money between 2 sports books. That's not going to last forever, right? Arbitrage will eventually correct itself, move back into line with the rest of the market. So, you know what that means. Like, you have to move quick, right? So if you're trying to get in on a great arbitrage bet, especially a very high percentage arbitrage bet, you better know how to navigate these sites quickly. I said this earlier in my first video. Sports betting is not a game for the slow. It'll never be. This is very similar to day trading for sports. You better know how to navigate these sports books. You better know how to find particular markets, how to find game props in MLB, NBA, NFL. You better know how to get there quick, because if you're taking forever, 10 minutes to log into your BetMGM, find alternate run lines in MLB, you're not going to get in on the best opportunities. It'll just never happen because a bunch of other people are going to beat you there. So you have to move quick to get in arbitrage bets. I will say, don't be discouraged if you miss a few. Most OddsJam customers, out of the thousands we have, most OddsJam customers who still place arbitrage bets say that they aim to get in on 60 or 70% of arbitrage bets before the odds move. That's still a lot of arbitrage bets, right? You have to think about it. It takes 2 seconds to go to these sites and check the odds to see if this bet is still available. 2 seconds. You hit the refresh button, you go to the sites. If it's available, you place the bet. If it's not available, you don't place the bet, obviously, right? Like, it's not that complicated of a game placing an arbitrage bet, but you're not going to have a hit rate of 100% because, again, arbitrage is a financial market inefficiency. These odds eventually are going to move back into sync, so you have to move quickly, especially if you want to get on the ARBs that OddsJam has on almost a daily basis that are 10%. You're going to have to move quickly. This is not a game for the slow. I've said it before. Sports betting will never be a game for the slow. You have to move quick if you want to get in on great bets. So that's another reason. I think that was reason 2 why arbitrage betting, isn't particularly great. Right? Like, it really depends how you view it. Some people are like, this is fantastic. I'm going to place $1,000 on FanDuel. I have $3,000 in my account. I'll place $1,000, roughly on Barstool. I'll earn a risk-free $10. My lunch is paid for tomorrow, right? It's a very easy way to make money. Even if you just made $10 arbitrage betting per day, that's $300 a month in risk-free profit. Imagine what you can do with that $300. That's how many people who use OddsJam, view arbitrage. And that's great, right? It's great because you can hustle, you can earn, $10 here and there and make a pretty good sum of money in a day if you're checking the site consistently. So the second reason I guess I gave that arbitrage betting, is flawed, or the reason it's not perfect, is these odds are moving. So you have to move quickly, right? You have to move pretty quickly to get in on the best arbitrage bets. It's never going to be a game for the slow. You have to know how to navigate these sports books, hit refresh on the OddsJam site fairly consistently to get in on the best bets. The next thing I'll say about arbitrage betting, this is more versus, investing for people who are investors, is this is an active job. Every day you don't bet, you're not getting any money from arbitrage, right? You have to bet every single day. You have to bet every single day you want to make money. So if you're earning an average of $50 per day and you take off tomorrow from arbitrage betting, you don't have the 10, 15 minutes it takes, then you don't make any money, right? It's pretty simple, but a lot of people, you need to realize that this is an active job. You're quickly going to sportsbooks, checking odds when the arbitrage bet still exists. You're placing that bet, and then you're moving on to the next one, right? It's not a game for the slow, but also it's not a game for those who are expecting passive income. This isn't you sit back and you make $50 a day. This is you hustle hard and you move quick in 10 minutes to earn $50 a day, right? So that's the next reason I'll give. And the fourth reason I'll give that arbitrage betting, may be a little flawed is it's not scalable, right? Like DraftKings and, FanDuel here, they're not going to let you bet $50,000 on this. Like, I get that question sometimes, can I place $20,000 on this and just, if you have that capital available, and earn a risk-free $198 for betting $40K? And it's like, no, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot. Sportsbooks have limits, and the limits vary based on a lot of things, but FanDuel may say, okay, we're only letting you bet $1,250 on this. So you make a risk-free $1,238, that's great, but it's not like as you make more money sports betting, you can scale this up to $12.5K to make $123 off of this arbitrage bet. So arbitrage betting isn't perfect. It has flaws. But again, if you are new to sports betting, if you simply want to grow your bankroll risk-free, earning 10, 20, 50, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, dollars per day, and you're willing to hustle for it, know how to navigate books quickly, then arbitrage betting may be for you. We've said this earlier, but sports betting, I've said this so many times, it's not a game for the slow, right? We have email alerts. We have arbitrage settings in OddsJam. So you can set up email alerts so you can receive all arbitrage notifications to your inbox. But if you check your email and then, 20 minutes later you email us and say, hey, this arbitrage bet moved. Financial markets move, right? If it's a great arb, it's going to move within 20 minutes. Again, this is something where most of our successful users, you're on the OddsJam site, you hit the refresh button whenever you have a spare second, you place these great arbitrage bets, and that's how you're going to make the most money. You have to be monitoring the site, every hour or so if you want to make over $150 a day, in my opinion. You need to be checking OddsJam, every hour, hitting the refresh button, seeing the new opportunities, and placing your bets before the odds move. That's how you can really make a killing with arbitrage betting. But again, you have to be quick, you have to know how to navigate the sites, and you have to be willing to put in the work. This isn't an ATM machine. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, we kind of went over the pros of arbitrage, right? The pros are basically you make risk-free money. That plain and simple. You build your bankroll and you make risk-free money. The pros, there's one pro, it's risk-free money. It's a pretty easy risk-free pro. It's hard to argue with making risk-free money. But there are a lot of cons, right? One, you're not gambling. Two, bookmakers can limit your bet size. Three, you have to know how to move quickly because you have to place 2+ bets before the odds move, four, arbitrage bets will vary based on the number of games in a day. If it's the MLB All-Star break and there's no sports games going on, there's not going to be many betting opportunities in general. Whereas when NFL, NBA, and MLB are all going on at the same time, there may be tons of arbitrage bets in a given day. But it's not something you can consistently do and expect to earn the same amount of money every single day. It is highly dependent on the specific games in a given day and all of those sorts of things. So that's arbitrage betting. I hope it was a helpful intro. There was a great arb at the start. Now we can hit refresh a few more times. It looks like it's pretty dry. But again, what you want to do is you want to check OddsJam at various points in the day to see what arbitrage opportunities exist, and kind of do that consistently. And what you'll notice is sometimes there are fantastic arbs, 5%, 6%, 8%. Sometimes they're much lower. But if you're checking consistently, it should be nearly impossible for you to not make like $150 in your first week. We offer a free trial. Give it a try. If you're not able to make $150 hustling with sports betting arbitrage, then, we're happy to extend your free trial, whatever you end up needing. But you really should be able to make that money back pretty quickly. So that's arbitrage betting. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Any questions, you can email me. I'll leave my email in the description. You can reach out to us on Twitter, at OddsJam, whatever it is. And we look forward to hopefully helping you make some money sports betting.